Relax, my friend. Life is not a race, and yet we move through it as if we are forever running late to an appointment that was never scheduled. We rush, we push, we strive, constantly looking at the clock, at the calendar, at others who seem to be ahead of us. But what if I told you that the very act of rushing is what keeps you behind? You see, the river does not rush toward the ocean, yet it gets there. It flows, it bends, it allows. It knows that its purpose will be fulfilled simply by being what it is, a river. You too are a river. You do not need to force your way toward your destination. You need only to flow with awareness, with calm, and with trust. When you set your goals for this year, do not set them in panic, set them in peace. A goal born of fear will always lead you back to fear. A goal born of presence will take you into freedom. Too many people make plans as a way to escape themselves, thinking that if they achieve this or that, then they will finally be worthy, finally be safe. But true success does not come from escaping who you are. It comes from embracing who you are right now. You must understand that focusing on your goals is not about forcing outcomes. It's about aligning your energy with the direction your soul is quietly pointing toward. Yourself, your order, spirit, your traditions. When you say, I will focus on my goals, remember that focus is not tension. Focus is awareness. It is not the act of narrowing your mind, but of opening it. When you focus with calmness, you see the path unfold naturally. But when you focus with anxiety, you see only the obstacles. Relaxation and clarity are twins. They are born together. The more you relax, the more clearly you see what truly matters. The more clearly you see, the less energy you waste on what doesn't. That's the paradox. When you stop trying to control everything, things begin to move. Every goal you have for this year is not a command to the universe, it is a conversation with it. You say, this is what I desire, and the universe whispers, then act as if it's already unfolding. But acting does not mean forcing. It means living in harmony with your vision. It means taking one step at a time, doing your part, and allowing life to do its part. You are not separate from the process. You are the process. Realize that, the anxiety of achievement dissolves. You start to see that the journey is not something happening to you. It is something happening through you. There will be moments when nothing seems to move, when progress feels invisible. That's when most people give up. But the stillness is not the enemy of progress, it is its foundation. Seeds grow in silence. Dreams take shape in the unseen. The caterpillar dissolves into nothing before becoming the butterfly. So do not be afraid of the quiet stretches of your path this year. They are not empty, they are sacred. They are preparing you for the next unfolding. Relaxing does not mean doing nothing. It means doing everything from a state of peace, rather than panic. It means you act without the inner noise of desperation. You wake up and move toward your goals, not because you must, but because it feels natural. You no longer chase your dreams. You walk with them. You become their partner, not their prisoner. Life becomes less of a struggle and more of a dance. The steps are not forced. They flow with the rhythm of awareness. You are not late in life. You are exactly where the universe intends you to be right now. The goals you've set are not meant to imprison you, they are meant to expand you. Every action you take toward them should feel like breathing, steady, calm, alive. The more you relax into this truth, the faster you align with the very outcomes you once tried to chase. For what you chase runs away, but what you align with comes closer. So breathe. Let this year be less about pressure and more about purpose, less about speed and more about sincerity. The calm within you is not the opposite of progress. It is its power. To flow, don't force, is to understand the rhythm of life itself. There's a great illusion we all fall into, the illusion of control. We think that by tightening our grip, by pushing harder, by working longer, we can bend reality to our will. But control is a mirage. The tighter you hold, the more slips through your fingers. Look at the waves of the ocean. Do they strive to reach the shore? No. They rise and fall in perfect harmony with the pull of the moon. They surrender, yet they arrive. In the same way, when you learn to surrender to life's natural flow, you stop fighting against the current that was never meant to be resisted. You still move, but your movement becomes effortless. You still strive, but your striving becomes joyful. People misunderstand what it means to relax. They think it means doing nothing, but real relaxation is doing everything from a state of inner stillness. It's not laziness, it's alignment. When your actions arise from a calm center, they carry a different energy, an invisible harmony. The universe responds not to your words, but to your vibration. And when your vibration is peaceful, your goals unfold without strain. You've probably noticed that when you're anxious or desperate, everything becomes harder. Conversations, plans, even simple decisions. But when you're calm, opportunities seem to appear naturally. That's not luck. It's resonance. You've stopped forcing and started flowing. Forcing is born of fear. The fear of not achieving, not being enough, not keeping up. Flow, on the other hand, comes from trust. It's the faith that what is meant for you cannot be lost, and what is lost was never meant for you. This faith does not make you passive, it makes you powerful. Because once you stop fighting, your energy stops leaking into resistance. And suddenly you have more clarity, more strength, and more peace to move forward. Imagine a surfer trying to control the ocean with his hands. It's absurd. Yet that's what most of us do when we try to control life's timing, outcomes, or other people's reactions. The wise surfer learns to read the wave, to move with it, to become one with its rhythm. That's what it means to flow toward your goals. Every goal in life has its own natural season. There's a time for planting and a time for harvesting, a time for waiting and a time for action. Forcing is trying to harvest when the field is still in bloom. Flow is trusting that the sun and rain are doing their part even when you can't see the results. This year, when you set your goals, don't chain yourself to them with anxiety. Instead, walk beside them like companions. Let them guide you, inspire you, but never enslave you. If you plant the seed of your intention and tend to it daily with faith, it will grow at the pace of divine timing, not at the speed of your impatience. When you relax into your purpose, you begin to feel something extraordinary. A rhythm beneath everything. You notice that coincidences aren't coincidences at all. The right people appear at the right time. The right idea comes when you least expect it. Doors you didn't even know existed begin to open. That's not magic. That's alignment. You're no longer swimming against the current of your own destiny. You've surrendered control, and in doing so, you've gained it in a higher form. Control over your peace, your focus, your response. These are the only things that ever matter. The greatest paradox is this. When you stop chasing what you want, you create the space for it to find you. Think about it. When you chase a butterfly, it flies away, but when you sit still, it might just land on your shoulder. That's the law of flow. Desperation repels, calmness attracts. This doesn't mean you stop working. It means your work becomes a form of meditation. You act without the poison of anxiety. You take steps without demanding immediate results. You trust the process without needing proof every second. That's where real success begins. Not in struggle, but in surrender. Many people sabotage their goals because they mistake motion for progress. They fill their days with endless activity, confusing busyness with purpose. But a leaf in a storm spins furiously and still goes nowhere. Flow requires direction, not desperation. You must know where you are going, but you must not obsess over when you will arrive. When you are relaxed, time itself becomes an ally. You stop counting the days and start living them fully. And in that fullness, your energy multiplies. You attract more opportunities, not because you beg for them, but because you become the kind of person they are drawn to. When you are in flow, even challenges feel different. They no longer feel like punishments, but like refinements. Waves that shape you, not drown you. The person who forces breaks at the first storm, but the person who flows learns to dance with the wind. You can't stop life's changes, but you can stop resisting them. Every detour, every delay, every disappointment, it's all part of the same river carrying you where you need to go. When you learn to trust that, peace becomes your natural state, even in motion. So as you focus on your goals this year, don't let ambition become anxiety. Don't mistake struggle for strength. Learn to breathe between the steps. Learn to pause without guilt. Let your dreams be like a melody, sometimes soft, sometimes strong, but always flowing. The most powerful people are not those who fight against the world, but those who have learned to move with it. They are calm in chaos, steady in uncertainty, focused without fear. They have mastered the art of non-resistance, and in doing so, they've discovered a secret. The universe always works better with those who work gently with it. Flowing doesn't mean doing less. It means doing what matters most, from a place of clarity. It means letting go of unnecessary struggle, doubt, and control so that your natural intelligence can lead the way. Life is not meant to be conquered. It's meant to be understood. And when you understand it, you realize that the path to your goals is not uphill. It's inward. Once your inner state aligns, the outer world adjusts accordingly. You begin to live with ease, grace, and confidence, knowing that everything you're moving toward is already moving toward you. Flow, don't force. This is not just a philosophy, it's a way of existing. It's trusting that the rhythm of your heart is already in tune with the rhythm of the universe. When you relax into that truth, your goals no longer feel like burdens. They feel like natural extensions of who you already are. It's one of the greatest lessons life can teach you. Most people live their days under a constant hum of tension, the fear of falling behind, the worry of not being enough, the endless comparison to others who seem to be moving faster. Their minds live in the future while their bodies are trapped in the present. And that's where the suffering begins, between where they are and where they think they should be. But when you learn to focus on your goals from a place of presence, the entire experience of life changes. The same path that once felt heavy becomes light. The same challenges that once drained you become purposeful. Presence transforms pressure into power. There is a strange misconception about success. People believe that to achieve something great, you must live in constant struggle, tension, and sacrifice. They confuse anxiety with ambition. But the truth is, the most extraordinary achievements often come from the calmest states of being. When you are fully present, you connect with a different level of intelligence, a quiet knowing that guides you step by step. Pressure clouds that intelligence. It makes you reactive instead of creative. It pushes you into doing more, not realizing that the key isn't more effort, it's aligned effort. Presence is not something you have to force. It's something you fall into when you stop trying to control everything. It's the natural state of your being. But the mind is addicted to chaos. It feeds on problems to feel alive. That's why people feel uncomfortable with silence. They feel like they're wasting time when they pause. Yet, in that very stillness, life reveals its direction. The moment you stop rushing, you begin to notice what truly needs your attention. Your intuition awakens, and suddenly the path ahead feels less like a mountain and more like a river, gently carrying you forward. When you operate from pressure, you live in a constant state of not enough. Not enough time, not enough progress, not enough results. It's like running on a treadmill. You're sweating, moving, exhausted, but not getting anywhere. Pressure makes you forget that life is not meant to be a punishment you have to survive. It's a process you are meant to experience. But presence turns the treadmill into a path. Every step has purpose. Every pause has meaning. Every action comes from awareness rather than fear. Focusing on your year's goals does not mean drowning yourself in deadlines and comparisons. It means waking up every morning and asking, what step can I take today with peace toward what I desire? Just one step, taken with full awareness, is more powerful than 100 taken in panic. Presence turns ordinary effort into sacred motion. You stop chasing results and start embodying them. The irony is that when you stop obsessing about the outcome begins to come to you more easily. It's as if the universe had been waiting for you to relax before it could deliver what was already yours. When you work from presence, your goals become extensions of your being, not escapes from it. You don't chase them to prove your worth. You pursue them because they express who you already are. This shift is everything. Pressure comes from trying to become someone. Presence comes from realizing you already are someone. Once you see that, your actions stop coming from fear. They come from purpose. You still strive, you still build, but the energy behind it is different. It's cleaner. It's lighter. It's sustainable. In moments of pressure, your mind tells you that everything depends on this one result, this one opportunity, this one year. But life doesn't work like that. Every year, every goal, every challenge is just a wave in the ocean of your evolution. When you look back one day, you'll realize that the moments you thought were make or break were just stepping stones toward something deeper. So don't let the pressure of this year crush your spirit. Let it shape it. Let it refine your patience, your discipline, and your faith. But never let it steal your peace. Nothing is worth losing your inner balance for. The art of presence is to give your full attention to this moment, even when you're planning for the future. It means you can dream big but live small, fully grounded in the now. You don't need to see the entire staircase. You only need to take the next step with clarity. Pressure demands guarantees before moving forward. Presence trusts that the next stone will appear when you need it. That's how faith works, not in grand declarations, but in quiet decisions, made one day at a time. There's a kind of sacred rhythm that only reveals itself when you're still enough to hear it. It's in the timing of events, the chance encounters, the sudden insights that seem to come from nowhere. They don't appear under pressure, they appear under presence. Have you ever noticed that your best ideas come when you're relaxed? In the shower, on a walk, or sitting quietly in the evening? That's because your mind, freed from the tight grip of urgency, opens up to the flow of inspiration. Creativity and clarity live in the same space where peace resides. If you want to succeed this year, protect that space. Don't trade your peace for progress. Progress born of peace is far more powerful and lasting. Presence also teaches patience. Not the waiting kind, but the trusting kind. The patience that says, I am exactly where I'm supposed to be, doing exactly what I need to do. When you live like that, every day feels purposeful, even when results aren't visible. You begin to see growth in the smallest details. You become less obsessed with how far you have to go and more grateful for how far you've come. That gratitude shifts your energy completely. Life starts to work with you instead of against you. People sense it too, your calm confidence, your quiet focus. You become magnetic. You stop convincing and start attracting. You will notice that when you are present, time slows down, not because the clock changes, but because you stop living ahead of it. You stop thinking, when I achieve this, then I'll be happy. You realize happiness is not a destination, it's a state of awareness. You can live it now, even as you build your dreams. The future is just a reflection of how deeply you live today. When you live this moment fully, you plant the seeds of every success that will bloom later. So as you focus on your goals for this year, don't make them a source of pressure. Make them a reminder of your purpose. Be fully where you are. Work with peace. Move with trust. Let your presence be your power. The future is shaped not by how fast you move, but by how deeply you connect to the present moment. When you understand that, you realize something beautiful. The journey is not about reaching something out there. It's about discovering the infinite strength, peace, and clarity that already exists within you, right here, right now. Awareness is the real focus. The world often teaches you that to succeed you must narrow your mind until only your goal remains in sight. But that kind of focus blinds you. It traps you inside a tunnel where you see only what you lack, what you fear, and what you're chasing. Real focus is not a narrowing, it's an expansion. It's the awakening of awareness. When you become aware, your entire being becomes the instrument through which life expresses itself. You stop trying to force your way toward a destination and start seeing the supple paths the universe is already opening for you. Awareness doesn't block the noise of the world. It allows you to hear it without being disturbed by it. It is not a fight against distraction. It's a dance with it. Think of awareness like light. When you shine it on something, you don't change that thing, you simply reveal it as it truly is. The same is true for your life. Awareness doesn't create clarity by adding more effort. It reveals the clarity that was already there, hidden beneath the clutter of constant thought. Most people confuse attention with awareness. Attention is what you use when you concentrate on a task. Awareness is what you use when you observe the entire process of being alive. When you are aware, even simple actions like breathing, walking, or speaking become moments of mindfulness. You begin to see that every experience is connected, that your thoughts shape your emotions shape your actions, and your actions shape your destiny. To live with awareness is to live awake. Most people are sleepwalking through their goals, moving, talking, working, but disconnected from their inner self. They chase achievements without realizing that the energy behind their actions determines the quality of their results. When you are unaware, you react. When you are aware, you respond. And that difference changes everything. Reaction is mechanical. It's born from habit, fear, and impulse. Response is conscious. It's guided by understanding, presence, and peace. When you act from awareness, you stop repeating old patterns that lead to exhaustion. You begin to create from wisdom rather than worry. Awareness is also the art of seeing without judging. You observe your own thoughts without labeling them as good or bad. You witness your emotions without drowning in them. This kind of self-awareness gives you freedom, because once you can see your mind at work, it loses its power to control you. You realize you are not your thoughts. You are the awareness that observes them. You are the awareness that observes them. And from that place of observation, decisions become clear, actions become purposeful, and your goals stop feeling like burdens. They become expressions of your truth. The more aware you are, the more life reveals its rhythm. You start to notice how everything around you moves in cycles. Success and failure, joy and sorrow, rest and action. You stop resisting the ebb and flow, and instead you learn to move with it. Awareness allows you to see that even challenges are part of a greater design. They are not interruptions to your journey, they are refinements of it. When you face difficulty with awareness, you don't fall into despair. You rise in understanding. You see what the moment is teaching rather than what it's taking away. The beauty of awareness is that it turns ordinary experiences into sacred lessons. Every person you meet becomes a mirror, every setback a teacher, every silence an invitation to listen more deeply. This is where focus transforms into mastery, not by forcing concentration, but by being deeply aware of every detail, every feeling, every nuance of the present moment. You begin to see patterns you once ignored. You begin to sense opportunities that used to pass you by. True focus comes from being aware of yourself in everything you do. It's not about pushing yourself to extremes. It's about staying connected to your center, no matter where you are. When you're aware, your mind is not split between past regrets and future worries. It is fully here. And when you are fully here, life responds to you with clarity. Your decisions align effortlessly with your purpose. because your energy is no longer scattered. Awareness gathers your power back from all the places you've left it, in fear, in doubt, in regret, and brings it into the now. From that space, everything becomes possible. Awareness also brings compassion. When you become aware of your own inner chaos, you begin to understand the chaos in others. You stop judging people so harshly because you see that everyone is fighting battles invisible to the eye. This softens you. It makes you more patient, more kind, more grounded, and strangely enough, that kindness becomes your strength. It allows you to lead, inspire, and influence without aggression. It makes your presence healing rather than intimidating. People are drawn to those who radiate awareness because it feels like peace. When you work toward your goals with awareness, you don't just accomplish things, you grow through them. You notice how each challenge changes you, how every success humbles you, how every disappointment refines your perspective. You start to measure progress not by how much you've achieved, but by how much more awake you've become. Because awareness doesn't just help you reach your goals, it changes who you are when you reach them. It teaches you that success without awareness is empty. But awareness turns even small victories into fulfillment. You can practice awareness anywhere. While you work, while you walk, while you breathe, just pause and feel the moment. Feel your breath as it moves in and out. Feel your body grounded to the earth. Feel the sounds around you without naming them. This simple awareness reconnects you to life. It takes you out of your head and back into your soul. In that stillness, clarity arises naturally. You begin to know what you need to do next, not because someone told you, but because you can feel it. Life is constantly speaking to you through subtle signs, but you can only hear them when you are aware. Awareness is like tuning a radio. When you adjust to the right frequency, the noise disappears and the message becomes clear. Your goals this year are not hidden from you. They are waiting for you to become still enough to recognize their direction. The answers are not outside. They are within the silence you keep avoiding. That silence is not empty. It is full of guidance. So as you focus on your path, do not strive to force your mind into narrow concentration. Expand your awareness instead. See the beauty in the small things. Listen to the wisdom in the quiet moments. And trust the rhythm that guides everything around you. Awareness makes your journey lighter, your vision clearer, and your heart steadier. You no longer move through life as a restless seeker. You move as one who knows that everything you need has always been here, within the boundless stillness of your own awareness. You must come to this. Stillness is part of progress. This is one of the greatest paradoxes of life, how stopping can move you forward faster than constant motion ever could. We are conditioned to believe that success belongs only to those who never stop running, who fill every moment with activity, and who treat rest as weakness. But life has its own rhythm, and that rhythm includes pauses. The seed must be buried in silence before it blooms. The night must fall before the dawn arrives. Every living thing in nature honors stillness as part of growth, except humans. We rush, we panic, we force. Yet every time we do, we break the very harmony that carries us toward what we seek. When you stand still, it might feel as if nothing is happening. You may feel stuck, forgotten, or left behind, but that stillness is not emptiness. It is transformation. It is the invisible work of life rearranging itself on your behalf. Think about the ocean after a storm. Once the chaos settles, the water becomes clear again, revealing what was always beneath. Stillness works like that within you. It clears the debris of doubt, fear, and noise, so your inner vision can see again. You begin to notice what truly matters, what is truly yours, and what can finally be released. Without stillness, you will keep moving in circles, mistaking motion for meaning. Many people fear stillness because they mistake it for failure. When progress slows, they assume something has gone wrong. But growth is not linear. It moves in cycles. Advance, pause, reflect, rise again. When life pauses you, it is not punishment. It is preparation. You may not see it yet, but behind the quiet, forces are aligning. The right people are being placed. The right opportunities are being formed. The right timing is being arranged. If you rush too soon, you'll miss what was meant for you. Patience is not waiting. It is trusting that divine timing is wiser than your urgency. Stillness also brings understanding. When you stop running from silence, you start to hear truth. You hear the voice of your own intuition, the one that's drowned out by the noise of constant doing. In stillness, your mind may resist. It will tell you to get up, to check your phone, to plan the next move. But if you can sit through that discomfort long enough, something beautiful happens. The noise fades, and a quiet awareness emerges. You begin to realize that you don't need to chase clarity. It arises naturally when you stop cluttering your thoughts. Answers that seemed impossible begin to form. Decisions that once felt heavy become simple. Stillness gives birth to insight. This is why the most powerful actions often come after a period of rest. Every great artist, thinker, or leader knows that silence is part of creation. You inhale before you speak. You pause before you strike. You wait before you rise. The pause is not empty. It's what gives your next action meaning. Without it, everything becomes frantic, shallow, and scattered. When you embrace stillness, you give your energy time to gather. You become like an arrow pulled back in a bow. The tension is not wasted. It's building strength for the release. Sometimes, stillness is forced upon you. A plan fails, a relationship ends, a dream delays. You feel as if life has stopped moving. But maybe that's because it needed to. Maybe you were headed in the wrong direction, or carrying too much, or relying on strength that wasn't meant to sustain you. The pause becomes protection. It becomes a sacred space where you can rest, reassess, and reconnect to your true purpose. You may not recognize it now, but one day you'll look back and realize that those quiet seasons were the most important of all. They didn't destroy your path. Stillness is not inaction. It's conscious non-resistance. It's choosing to let life unfold rather than forcing it to obey your timeline. When you embrace stillness, you learn that not every problem needs to be solved immediately. Not every goal needs to be achieved right now. You start to see that the universe has its own flow, and when you align with it, everything begins to move more smoothly. The opportunities that once felt unreachable begin to appear with ease, not because you're doing more, but because you're finally attuned to the right rhythm. You're no longer fighting the current. You're letting it carry you. In moments of stillness, the heart heals. The wounds you've ignored surface, not to break you, but to be released. Pain, when met with awareness, begins to dissolve. Forgiveness becomes easier, not because the past changes, but because your perspective does. Stillness allows space for grace. It allows you to breathe between the lessons and remember that you are more than your struggles. You start to feel whole again, and from that wholeness, new inspiration arises. And that's the secret of stillness. It's the birthplace of renewal. When you allow stillness, creativity flows effortlessly. Have you ever noticed that your best ideas come not when you're forcing them, but when you're relaxed, taking a walk, lying down, or doing nothing at all? That's because stillness connects you to something beyond the mind. It taps into the deeper intelligence of the universe, the same intelligence that moves the stars and orchestrates the seasons. You are part of that rhythm, whether you realize it or not. When you stop interfering with your own natural flow, miracles begin to happen quietly, like seeds sprouting beneath the soil. Even the most determined traveler must rest between journeys. If you push too hard, exhaustion blinds you to the beauty of the path. But when you rest, your vision clears, your strength renews, and your purpose becomes sharper. The journey isn't about how fast you move, it's about how deeply you live along the way. Stillness teaches you to trust that life doesn't forget those who wait in faith. You may feel unseen in your silence, but even in those unseen moments, the universe is rearranging itself to meet your readiness. When you sit in stillness, you come face to face with yourself, the version that doesn't perform, doesn't prove, doesn't chase. And in that encounter, you find something profound, peace. You realize that all along, you were not meant to constantly strive. You were meant to become. And becoming requires moments of quiet reflection where you can simply be. No pretending, no forcing, no pressure, just awareness, breath, and gratitude. In that space, life begins to expand again, not because you made it happen, but because you finally allowed it to. So when the world tells you to hustle, to grind, to keep moving, remember that true progress often looks like stillness. The tree does not grow by stretching its branches in panic. It grows by being rooted in silence, letting the sun and the rain do their quiet work. You too are growing, even when it seems nothing is changing. Every pause is sacred, every still moment divine. Trust it. Let stillness do its quiet magic. When you rise again, you'll find that you didn't lose time. You found yourself. Relaxation is the highest form of productivity because it connects you to the natural intelligence of life itself. When you are relaxed, your actions arise not from fear, but from clarity. You begin to move in alignment with the rhythm of the universe instead of struggling against it. Most people think productivity means constant motion, relentless effort, and sleepless determination. They glorify exhaustion as proof of dedication. But true productivity is not measured by how much you do. It's measured by how aligned your doing is with your being. When you are calm and centered, even small actions carry immense power. When you are tense and scattered, even great efforts produce little results. Relaxation is not the absence of work. It is the state of being in which your work becomes meaningful and efficient. Information. Imagine a musician playing an instrument. If the strings are too loose, no sound comes out. If they're too tight, the sound breaks. Only when they are in balance can the melody flow beautifully. Life works the same way. If you are too relaxed, you drift without direction. If you are too tense, you shatter your spirit. Productivity lies in that middle space. Relaxed awareness, calm intention, effortless precision. The mind, when at peace, becomes a channel through which ideas, inspiration, and solutions flow naturally. But when it is anxious, it blocks its own brilliance. Relaxation allows you to access that deeper intelligence that can't be forced. When you rest your body and quiet your mind, creativity arises from stillness. The greatest thinkers, inventors, and artists in history understood this truth. Ideas often appear not during frantic effort, but during calm surrender. They come while walking, meditating, or sitting quietly by a window. That's because relaxation silences the ego's noise long enough for intuition to speak. The answers you've been chasing often appear the moment you stop chasing them. Most people live in a constant fight with time. They rush to meet deadlines, chase results, and fear falling behind. This endless pressure creates exhaustion, and exhaustion creates mistakes. You can't produce clarity from chaos. When you are exhausted, your energy becomes divided, your decisions impulsive, and your vision blurred. But when you are relaxed, time expands. You begin to notice that one calm, focused hour can achieve more than 10 anxious ones. You begin to notice that one calm, focused hour can achieve more than 10 anxious ones. Relaxation sharpens the mind because it brings it back to the present moment. It pulls you out of regret for yesterday and worry for tomorrow. It roots you in now, the only place where life actually happens and where true creation begins. Being relaxed doesn't mean being lazy. It means being free from unnecessary tension. It means doing what you need to do, but without inner resistance. You can work hard and still be relaxed if you trust the process. You can pursue big dreams and still feel peaceful if you stop measuring your worth by how fast you achieve them. Relaxation removes the desperation that blocks progress. It teaches you that everything unfolds in divine order, and no amount of panic will speed up what is meant to unfold in its own time. When you approach your goals with relaxation, your actions become inspired rather than forced. You begin to notice what feels right instead of what looks urgent. You stop reacting to everything and start responding with wisdom. Each move you make is intentional, rooted in awareness, not impulse. That's why relaxed people often accomplish more. They don't waste energy on what doesn't matter. They don't carry the mental burden of constant anxiety. Their inner calm allows them to see the shortest, simplest path forward, while others exhaust themselves trying to find shortcuts that only lead to detours. Relaxation also heals your relationship with failure. When you're tense, every setback feels personal. You take every delay as a sign that you're not good enough. But when you're relaxed, you understand that failure is part of growth, not the opposite of it. You no longer see mistakes as enemies, but as teachers. Relaxation gives you emotional flexibility, the ability to bend without breaking. You stop punishing yourself for not being perfect, and instead you begin to learn. That openness accelerates your progress far more than self-criticism ever could. This is America. And there were three other issues at work. at the heart of the continent under slavery. There's a deep wisdom in calmness. When you act from relaxation, you move with precision because your vision isn't clouded by fear. It's where destiny turns quietly in your favor. You might think that relaxing means you're wasting time, but in reality, you're aligning time. You're syncing your internal rhythm with the natural pace of the universe. Have you ever noticed that nature never hurries, yet everything is accomplished? The flowers bloom, the seasons shift, the rivers flow, all without stress. There's no rushing in creation, only rhythm. You too are part of that rhythm. When you relax, you return to your natural flow, where things fall into place because they're meant to, not because you force them to. Relaxation also makes you magnetic. People can feel the difference between someone who is calm and someone who is desperate. The energy of desperation repels. It feels heavy, uncertain, anxious. But the energy of calm attracts. It feels grounded, confident, trustworthy. That's why when you are relaxed, you naturally draw opportunities, people, and ideas toward you. You stop chasing, and instead you start attracting. This is not mystical, it's energetic. A relaxed mind is open. An anxious mind is closed. And only an open mind can receive what it's meant to. There will always be moments that test your peace. Challenges, delays, and unexpected turns will come. But relaxation is not about avoiding difficulty. It's about meeting it with grace. When storms rise, a calm heart can navigate through them without losing direction. The person who panics drowns. The one who breathes floats. Relaxation gives you buoyancy in the chaos of life. It reminds you that control doesn't come from tension, it comes from trust. When you live relaxed, you start to notice small miracles. The timing of events, the people who appear just when you need them, the sudden clarity that guides your next move, these are not coincidences. They are the natural flow of life responding to your inner state. The more peaceful you are within, the smoother things unfold without. It's not that problems disappear, it's that your perspective transforms. You stop seeing life as an obstacle course and start seeing it as a dance. Your greatest work will never come from exhaustion. It will come from alignment. The projects that carry your soul, the relationships that grow you, the opportunities that fulfill you, they all arise when you operate from calm presence. The energy of peace carries precision, while the energy of anxiety carries confusion. So breathe deeply. Slow down. Trust your pace. There's a difference between moving fast and moving forward. The first drains you, the second fulfills you. Relaxation is not something you earn at the end of achievement. It's the foundation of achievement itself. It's the quiet confidence that whispers, I am enough and I am becoming more. When you embody that truth, your entire life transforms. You stop working against yourself and begin to work with the current of existence. You become both the dreamer and the dream unfolding. You become both the dreamer and the dream unfolding. And in that sacred balance of peace and purpose, you discover the secret that the world keeps missing. Relaxation is not the opposite of productivity. It is its purest form.